Hey, where you been? We've been waiting for you. Well, since you weren't here, we went ahead and got started without you. But take a look what we got going now. Got a little busy, and me and Dan, the man, we got the motor all installed. Everything's all bolted up now. Now it's just a matter of doing all the wiring, the headers, and cooling system stuff. And we'll be up and running here not too long, probably tomorrow sometime. And then we'll start going into detail on some of the tuning stuff with the new tuning setup. So yeah, so sorry you weren't here for the party, but we had to just go ahead and get it done. So nothing too complicated that I haven't covered before in 2 other videos. So we're rolling. All right, we got the advanced adapter shorty headers on now. Love the way these things fit. Any of you guys not using these things are stupid. Yeah, fit beautiful. All right, wire harness is pretty much all hooked up. All the plumbing's done, intake's on, throttle cables. Everything's good here so far. Just gonna do some hoses and let's try to figure out if I can make a fan shroud fit this next, I think. But getting closer to firing it up. Oh, she's back home. Looks so much better. Oh yeah, baby. Let's get this thing fired up. So at this point, everything is hooked up. Got all the fluids in it. All the wiring's done. Just got to throw the battery in it. And I got to bolt the Y pipe. I got to crawl underneath there. Button up the Y pipe on the exhaust system. And then I got to bring out the laptop and go in and make some changes to my tune for the new combination. And should be firing this thing up here real quick. Hood's all back on. Excited, looking good. All right. So now that everything's installed, everything's hooked up. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and yank that distributor back out of the motor, and I have my little oil priming distributor I've made years and years ago. No gear on it. It's got a little socket welded at the top. So I'm going to drop this in and put the impact on. I'm going to run this, and I'm going to oil prime the entire motor. Not only is it always important, but especially in this application, because I have that remote oil filter mount on the opposite side of the chassis. So I have probably 6.5 feet of oil line for it to go from basically the oil pump out of the motor over to the oil filter and then back to the motor again. So it would be cranking for quite a while dry. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this in, and we'll give it a prime and take a look at the pressure gauge and see what it's got. All right, so there we go. We got the dummy distributor in there, and I'm going to go ahead and just drive it with my cordless DeWalt. So I'm going to throw the ignition on and take a look at the oil pressure gauge while this is going, and we should see some pressure. At least we better see some pressure. This is my oil pressure gauge. It's got a warning light. Anything below 10 psi comes on, so that's why that red light's on. See, my fuel gauge is on. I didn't put no gas in it yet. So let's go out here and give this a spin and see what happens. A lot of pressure on there. Okay, first attempt was a fail. Apparently the impact doesn't have enough RPM. So now I'm going to try my DeWalt cordless drill, see what happens. looks like a good sign. Okay, you actually seen it before I did. I had to play back the video to watch it, but yeah, 60 pounds of oil pressure on the hand drill. Great, we're good to go here. So now I'm gonna go ahead and throw the distributor back in, get all the timing marks lined up. Then we're gonna go jump over to the laptop before we can fire it up. So good progress. So now that I know the engine's got good oil pressure while cranking and the motor's all primed, so now I've opened up my Tuner Studio, the tuning program for the micro squirt in the truck. And I've already done this in the house, but a couple changes I had to make to it is I had to change the, under here, the engine settings. Had to make sure that I changed the cubic inches. So now 342 cubic inches. The injector flow rate is they're 24-pound injectors. So by changing that, it changes the required fuel settings. And down here, you can see it says now it's 5.6 liter actually. It's 5604 cc's, and the injector size is 252 cc's. So I made the changes there. So now it knows it can calculate the correct fuel for the cubic inches and the injector flow rate. I'm not changing nothing with my with the fuel tables to get it started. Right here is my fuel table. I'm going to leave all that as is to get it up and running. Same thing with my timing. I'm not messing with that. That shouldn't be much different than what it was with the 302. I did lock out the ignition timing. So right now I have my timing set to fixed timing, which is like unplugging the spout connector. Glare. And it's at 15 degrees. So when the truck fires up and runs, I need to throw my timing light on there and make sure that the actual timing on the balancer matches this. So the laptop and the engine are both synced together. So that's what we're going to try now. All my settings are done here. So I'm going to go ahead and give her a crank and see what happens. All right, crank attempt number 1. See what happens. The distributor, I have no idea where it's at. It's just kind of stabbed in there, and see what happens here. Fail number 1. All right, I wanted to pause the video right here for a minute because I want to address something that I'm not going to put in this video. Was the 15 minutes of clips of me messing around with my laptop trying to get it to communicate with the micro squirt ECM in the truck. Had no communication between the two. I thought there was something wrong, possibly with the connections on the wire harness or something. I checked all the sensors on the motor. Everything had power. Everything should be working. I had spark. I had fuel. But nothing would work. I couldn't get no communication to put my changes for the bigger cubic inches, the bigger injectors. I couldn't get none of that into the micro squirt. What I determined happened was the night before, Tuner Studio needed an update. It had been a while since I even turned on that computer because I only use it for my tuning. It's an old laptop. I think it's made by Atari. Runs on Windows XP. Well, I did the Tuner Studio update, and along with it, it said my Java was outdated. I needed to update to Java 8. I have no idea what that means. I'm not a computer guy. I fake it till I make it. So I have no idea, but I could not get the Java 8 update to work on my laptop. Apparently, it's not supported by Windows XP or whatever. So basically, the Tuner Studio update rendered my normal laptop useless for what I needed it to do. So at that point, I had to get another laptop from the house and repurpose it for tuning purposes. And of course, being a newer laptop, it doesn't have a serial port on the back that I can just plug right into my micro squirt. So now I need a serial to USB adapter. I have one. I bought it a little while ago off Amazon. It's a cheap one. Apparently, it's a piece of crap. Does not recognize anything. Won't communicate still. Computer can't find the driver for it. Go to the manufacturer's website. Go to their manual downloads. Try to download the driver. Nothing. Cannot get it to work. My buddy Eric with the Explorer, he's 10 times smarter than me, comes over and he tries to help me with all this stuff, and to no avail. I need to get a new... I order another cable from Best Buy. So I had to wait for them to email me saying that it's ready at the store for pickup, because this whole Corona thing, we can't go in those stores and get nothing. So that took a while. I had to go over there, pick that up, come back. Finally able, at that point, I was able to reinstall Tuner Studio in the new laptop. I had to go find all my old registration information and put that in there to get it registered to my name, so I have, access to everything that I've paid for a while ago. Now I have communication with the computer in the truck. I make my changes, and I try to start the truck, and nothing. I poke around and I discover I don't have any spark. Well, apparently what happened is, this whole time with me messing around with all this computer stuff, with me having the ignition switch on so I can tell when I have communication with the ECM and the laptop, my TFI module burned up. It died. So I grab another ignition module off the shelf, I throw it in there, and actually, as you'll see right here next, the truck actually fires. It fires and it runs like crap, and it's belching black smoke. It's pig rich, and I try to get in there to start, making some tuning adjustments, and before I can get everything up and going here, the truck dies, and I was never able to get it fired again that day. So that's a clip you're going to see next. And at the end of that clip, the truck is dead, and it's dead again for a whole nother day, basically. So let's check that out real quick. Finally! Header's leaking. Bullshit. Rich as hell. Come on, laptop. Hey, I'm back. Okay, so you've seen another one of my fails, right? So like I said, at the end of that clip, the truck shut off, died. It just kind of petered out. Was never able to get it started again. I pick up the next day, and I'm thinking I'm having some kind of fuel problem. Like, I was thinking maybe a fuel injector was hanging open, just flooding it out or whatever. Maybe that was a problem. So I had fully intended to just come out here. I was going to pull the intake off the truck, rip the injectors out, and send them to a friend and have them flowed and cleaned, and just to make sure that that's not a possibility. By chance, I just go to hit the key just to see what it's going to do. It's the next day, next morning. I hit the key. The truck fires right up. Again, running like it was in that last clip, spitting, sputtering. But it started. So I hurry up, I jump on the laptop, and I start making adjustments. I start pulling fuel off the fuel table, and man, the truck straightens right out. Starts running really good. I get it to where it's idling around high 13 AFRs, and then go out, checking the timing, verifying that, getting it all synced up, and the truck starts going lean, and it's getting leaner and leaner and leaner, and then the truck dies. I can't get the damn thing to restart. Checking other things, trying things in the computer. Well, maybe I took too much fuel out. Let's put the fuel back in. Hit the key. I get the thing. It takes a lot to get it started. It does finally start. It runs okay for a minute, and then it just kind of dies. And then it takes forever to get it to start again. And I'm going back. I've killed the battery 3 times at this point. It's on the battery charger on fast charge the whole time. I'm just pulling what hair I have left out. I am so frustrated. While all this is going on, I do have the exhaust fan in my shop is on. I have another fan in the door blowing fresh air in, because the fumes are just terrible. I mean, just burning my eyes. So the truck is dead at this point. So I'm getting a little bit chilly from the cold air rushing through the shop. So I turn off all the fans and everything, and there's no radio on. And I notice the next time I cycle the key, I don't hear the fuel pump prime. Well, that's weird. So in the Micro Squirt in the Tuner Studio, you can go in, you can manually turn on the fuel pump. So I turn it on, and I have nothing. So first thing I do is I go out under the hood to where the relay is. I want to look at the relay, look at the wiring for that or whatever. And before I even put a finger on it to touch it, the fuel pump comes on. Runs for a couple seconds, and it turns off. Then it comes back on. Then it goes off. And then it comes on. And it stays on for a while. Start the truck. Boom, everything's happy again. Then all of a sudden, it dies. All right, I have an intermittent fuel pump problem, obviously. So I had already put that new Stealth 340 pump in there. I had to change the connection on the top of the sending unit because it was all melted and bad. So I'm thinking maybe I did something wrong there. I don't have a good connection. I check all that. Still nothing. The fuel pump's off. I get out, I go back to check the relay again. In the meantime, the pump comes on, then it goes off. So that must have been the problem I was having the previous 2 days with this thing just, starting, not starting, running like crap, runs good, then it dies, So the fuel pump must have been going on and off the whole time I'm doing that. Fuel pressure fluctuating drastically until it would just trickle out of fuel and die. Well, what I discovered inside the truck when I moved on to check the inertia switch on the passenger floorboard up by the firewall, I discover this. This is the plug for the inertia switch. And it's roached. Obviously overheated. It's melted. It took a lot to actually get it unplugged. I basically cut it, just bypass it for now. Fuel pump actually screams now, and the truck fires right up. What I think happened was, with the connector on the fuel tank being bad, I'm thinking that it had such a bad connection there, probably at the ground, and causing so much resistance in this feed wire feeding power to the pump, a bad corroded connection. Actually, that's what caused that plug to melt on the sending unit and cause all that problem back there, and the plastic all getting brittle and breaking apart. Well, the next thing in line would be the wiring going to the inertia switch. So I think all that resistance from that bad connection at the pump is probably what caused this wire to melt and this connection and just this very, very badly burned up terminal inside here. So I think that's where a lot of these problems were all stemming from. So now you'll see in the next clip, wiring fixed. I'm able to get into the computer. The truck actually starts up fairly well so far. Runs good. Tighten up the headers a little bit, get rid of that little noise. I gotta tighten them up a little more, I think. And I was able to actually take it out for its first drive. I probably put about 10 miles on it last night, cruising around a little bit just around my house, kept it close to home, and runs really good. Runs really good. Tip in is ridiculous. It's very nice. Actually, I did a burnout out in the driveway. Maybe I'll show you the marks from those here later in the video, but very impressive. So anyway, let's pick up where I finally have all these gremlins, everything fixed, and the damn thing runs. So check it out. Now there we go. Fired right up. Got a few computer problems here. Took a while to get it started, but there it is. Gotta do a little bit of refining on the tune here. Big Ridge, Belgian black smoke, 10-1. It's rich off the gauge. It's got a small little header leak. There it is so far. Start doing some tuning now. Very nice so far. Alright, going out for test drive number 2. Gonna do a little bit of tuning. Truck fires right up. So she's got like 55 pounds of oil pressure. Everything's good. Idles. Actually really nice and stable. Opening up Tuner Studio now. And I got my partner with me. So let's see here. See what happens. Hold the brake pedal here a little bit. Ooh. There goes a cop. I'm gonna wait for him to leave. So, bringing up on the brake. Ooh. Pushing to the brakes. Here we go. Strong. Liking it a lot. Alright, we're out cruising around, test drive number 3. Put some more miles on this. Linked up with my good buddy Tom from the Bronco Ranch. Gonna go do some cruising. And I got the laptop running. Get this tune dialed in a little better here. So, let's have some fun. There we go. Hold on, Percy. Old high school. Sounds sweet. Matter of fact, so nice out. Now, hold on, let me turn this around. So nice out. We took the windows out and put the nets in for a little cruise today. Love it. So does he. shoot with this gem.
We're going around a little bit.
Sounds good. Put some more miles on it. What do you think, bud? You ready? Do a little pit stop, check things out. Listen to that sweet sound. All right, Percy? All right, here we go. Head on home and check over everything. There we go. That little beauty. There we go. All right, we're out of here. All right, made it back home safe and sound. Everything went good on the ride. Truck got up to about 200 degrees at one point. Pretty sure I probably just got an air pocket in there. I'm gonna need to burp out of it. No big deal. But I think that's a wrap for this video. Truck should have about 100 miles on it at this point. So I think I'm gonna do the first oil change on it, get this break-in oil out, get some good oil in it, and we'll go from there. So that's a wrap for this one here. So yeah, stroker motor, Bronco 2, do it. I dare you.